Thanks everyone for joining us this afternoon to learn about how Electronic Arts protects their game servers from DDoS attacks and keeps their services running reliably and with high availability. My name is Emil Kiner. I run the Cloud Armor product here on the network security team at Google Cloud. Cloud Armor is our DDoS mitigation service as well as our web application firewall. I'm honored to be joined by Peter Vito, the network architect at Electronic Arts. We've been working closely together over the years to stand up their infrastructure on GCP and making them as happy as we can. Before we get into EA, I'll just give a brief overview of Cloud Armor in general. As I mentioned, two slides forward, please. Thank you. A little bit out of order, but Cloud Armor, in conjunction with our cloud load balancing and cloud CDN stacks, are part of our global front-end solution to allow you to reliably serve and protect your workloads regardless of where they're deployed on Google Cloud, on-premise, or another infrastructure provider. Cloud Armor actually works in two ways. It protects your workloads from layers 3 and 4 volumetric and protocol-based attacks automatically. So we'll detect and block the traffic and surface enough telemetry for you to know that we're working on your behalf. Next, customers are also able to configure security policies to further customize how traffic enters their network. So in the layer 7 context, that's where you would get the web application firewall and rate limiting, also our custom rules language, and then things like IP, geo, and ASN filtering as well. Cloud Armor is built on top of the hardware and software stack that Google built to protect itself over the past 20 years. And really what that means is we're able to help protect against some of the world's largest attacks using the same infrastructure that is used to protect Google's billion user plus services. And then previous slide. So we've been able to protect customers' layer 7 and web-based applications for a long time. And then over the past 18 months, we've expanded the scope of our protection to what we call our pass-through endpoints that will allow us to protect customers using the same infrastructure when they're exposing their services through pass-through endpoints like the pass-through network load balancer or VMs connected to the internet directly. So about a year ago, we announced the availability of advanced network DDoS protection to protect, again, from the layer 3 and layer 4 volumetric attacks. And today, we're happy to announce the general availability of custom security policies for the pass-through endpoints, particularly for the network load balancer and VMs with public IPs. Two slides forward. Thank you. So as I mentioned, what we're announcing is protection. In addition to the automatic always-on volumetric DDoS protection, users are now able to configure custom security policies on a per backend basis, be it VM or network load balanced backend service, where you can configure layers 3 and 4 custom filtering criteria. That includes your traditional 5 tuples IP, port, and protocol, source and destination. Right, but critically, we're also supporting what we call byte offset matching, which allows us to inspect the payloads of every incoming packet subject to the user's filtering criteria. And as I mentioned, this does apply granularly on a per service basis, but all of it is enforced far upstream of customer infrastructure on Google's edge of the network, where we're able to block traffic before it has a chance to enter your network and cause any damage. With that, I'd like to hand it off to Peter to tell us more about how Electronic Arts thinks about DDoS protection and running their game servers reliably.
Thanks, Emil. I am Peter Vito from Electronic Arts, EA Sports, the architect for that team, network architect. Could we go back one, please? So, a denial of service attack has a very profound impact on video games. Now, with that profound statement out of the way, it's not just the user experience that's impacted, it's the overall reputation of the company. With these attacks ongoing and unaddressed, it will eventually have an impact on our reputation, which we take very, very seriously. So it's not just a matter of the user experience, it's also the reputation of the company that's at stake. So the challenge,
A little closer.
the challenge with the denial of service attacks is that they're increasing. They're not just the same denial of service attacks that were occurring in the past. There are quite a few publications that show that they are increasing in magnitude, frequency. They're definitely much more organized. So there's more of a urgency to be on top of situations where this is impacting the gaming experience. Due to the nature of what a video game session is for live play, it's very close to a VoIP conversation through a bridge. If you have multiple calls going into the bridge and you attack the bridge, it's a very high likelihood that bridge is not going to be able to sustain that service, and you will have a degradation of services. So the solution with Cloud Armor was, sorry, got mixed up here. The solution with Cloud Armor really is the ability to do deep inspection, to be able to do byte match offsets, to actually filter out the type of traffic that's actually hitting the actual game services. In a traditional DDoS mechanism, you can't just rely on profiles that will activate when detected and start mitigating the actual attack. It's far too late for a live stream to be able to defend itself. You have to be able to actually have live, continuous filters in place that eliminate the traffic that's hostile. And you have to be able to do that in real time without having a delay between detection and actual mitigation. With Cloud Armor, allowed us to do this in a way where we can also manage these rules ourselves programmatically. We can apply them, change them as the game conditions change, and have an instant result. And the coolest part that I feel about Cloud Armor is you now have the metrics. You can actually see and collect that data and pivot it against other metrics to be able to understand patterns of where these attacks are coming from, what the nature of these attacks are, etc. So at EA Sports, we're player first, true and true. And as a result, in the best interest of our players is to have a distributed service across the world. Now, having a distributed denial of service mitigation process applied to those distributed sites is absolutely critical for us. And Cloud Armor is a perfect fit as one of our partners for EA Sports.